perhaps looking at a 11th or a 12th position instead of the 15th that they're going into it in.
Yes, and I think that the 12th place position probably wouldn't have made a lot of difference to the draw that they've got. However, Stephen and Danielle will be trying to do a throw triple toe tonight and also side-by-side triple salcos.
Oh, the big new tricks.
Yeah, two big new tricks to stay right up in contention. I mean, I prefer for them to go after it than to do everything that's just been safe for them in the last 4 years. So we've got to keep our fingers crossed, and she'll be really trying for that throw triple toe. I've seen her do some beauties.
For the uninitiated, Belinda, you say, oh, yes, look, tonight they should go for it. Now, if they do go for it, and they do what I'd probably do to it, muck it up, what's the penalty?
There's not a penalty so much in the free program as that you just get no credit for missing
attempting it.
Yeah, you get no credit if you miss the jump. However, if you do land it, then the rewards are great, and I think that that's what sport's all about. It's about going for it, and that's what they'll be doing tonight.
How did you assess their short program?
I think they should have been, I think they had a good argument for 12th place in the short program, definitely 13th. I think that the Canadian judge really had the right result last night, so let's hope they'll do it again.
Is this going to be their swan song? I know they've got World Championships coming up in 3 or 4 weeks' time, but after that, what are their plans? They're going to sit down and talk about the future?
I think that this will be the last in the competitive sense that we'll see of Stephen Carr and Danielle McGrath, and that'll be a real shame for Australian skating. But
it's been fantastic, hasn't it? What, they're the longest serving pair
with the
in
same
the
partner,
world.
with the same partner.
What, 22 years?
Yes, I think it's very incredible, but it's something like 13 years at world level and international level, and that's incredible.
Well,
sort of a record.
There's a lot that they have to beat, and I think the ones that many people are perhaps tipping that could take the gold medal, and it would cap off a marvellous story for Artur Dmitriev. He's got a new partner, Oksana Kazakova, but of course he was successful, a gold medalist in 92, silver medalist in 94. What a record he'd have.
Well, it's only Irina Rodnina also from the old Soviet Union that's actually had gold medals with 2 different partners, and for Artur to be able to achieve that tonight would be one of sport's great stories.
Were you surprised that they finished the short program on top?
Yes and no. His performance value is so fantastic. I just thought that perhaps the girl wasn't quite as magical as his previous partner, Mishka Turniok, but she certainly delivered the goods, so there's no taking it away from them.
Couldn't you just call her Natalia instead of Mishka Turniok? There's a little bit of trivia too that I noticed. Now, some people here have had a bit of a crack at the judges, and they've been critical. Now, the judges should be very comfortable, because I've been standing here and watching, and each judge is given, listen to this everyone at home, is given an electric blanket to put on their chair to keep them warm for judging. Isn't that a nice gesture?
Well, I think they should extend that to the television people. Wouldn't that be good?
What about other contenders? I know we've talked at length about Elena Bereshnaya and Sigurlitsi, but what about the Germans?
Well,
Wurzel and Steuer.
Yeah, I think that we're probably all forgetting about Mandy and Ingo because they did do a clean short program. They are the current world champions, and they're fantastic. It is such a four-way split. I've been talking at length with Robin Cousins and all sorts of people today, and I'm saying, who are you tipping? Who are you tipping?
Well, come on, Robin's got a lot of credibility. Who's he tipping?
He says he doesn't know. He says he doesn't know.
That was good having a chat with him then, wasn't it?
The Swiss champion, the previous Swiss champion, is tipping Dmitriev, Kazakova, the German second, and the Americans third.
So not giving Bereshnaya a chance?
No. Well, that's everybody is different, and usually you'll see everybody's clear about who they think is going to be able to take gold or silver, but it's all over the shop, and the judges I think are probably feeling the same way.
Let's hope the judges aren't all over the shop, but look, what it means is, Gary, we've got a
fabulous event.
Yeah, a fantastic finale to this program. So we've just talked about 4 that are going to be in contention for gold, but it's really going to be very interesting too to see how Stephen and Danielle can climb up tonight. So, Gary, I'm sure you'll be with us.
Oh, you can bet your life on that, Sandy. Yes, we'll be back with you shortly and maybe talk just a little bit more about the leading contenders for the medals there, and of course...
About now. I'm very proud. We just want them to do their best tonight.
I didn't want to watch, but we had neighbours in next door, and Barry made me sit down and watch them. And not tonight. I'm not going to watch tonight. I just worry. I just worry that they're going to do the best they can because they've worked so hard all these years to get to this point for 4 minutes.
Yeah, and they'll be coming up shortly. You never think...
Yes, welcome back to White Ring. Crowd is building up, and so too is the atmosphere as we prepare for our medal night here, and it's going to be a marvellous free program. Belinda, we talked about the favourites, and of course I'm referring to Kazakova and Dmitriev, but what about those that are hot on their heels, those that have a chance not only of gold but also silver and bronze? And I think when we talk about them, if we can put them all together, we're able to talk about the contrasting styles, aren't we?
Well, I think that there are definitely 4 different styles from the 4 different top pairs. And first of all, we've got the performing pair of Dmitriev and Kazakova, but then we've very much got Watzel and Stoyer. But it's Kyoko Ina and Jason Dungeon that I think are probably the troublemakers amongst this group, because they're a real cross of all of those sort of styles, and mostly that they're athletic. And it's their athletic style that's creating a problem in the judging, I think.
Yes, the judges had to think long and hard last night, and even after that, the Americans weren't at all happy about it, but you've got to rate them an excellent chance.
Well, they're being tipped for a bronze medal, and the Americans are unhappy that they're not actually sitting in second place at the moment, so I think it's going to really have to be the skating talking and not so much all of us talking.
I guess the other point too, as far as Kyoto Ino is concerned, being born here, her roots here, she's going to have the crowd certainly on her side tonight. There'll be a lot of sentiment there.
Yes, we saw in the short program all the flowers come onto the ice for the Japanese skaters and also for Kyoko. So I think we'll see that again, and that's going to give her a very big lift, and it's going to make her feel really positive for tonight.
And then there's the couple that we think would complete a fairy tale story if they were successful, Elena Bereshnaya and Anton Sigurilica. How do you see them, especially as far as their style is concerned? To me, they just steal the ice.
I think that they're the sentimental favourites, and I think if they make no technical errors, I think that this is where the 6.0s are going to come in the artistic impression mark. I definitely think that we'll see 5.8 and 5.9s, and to me, I still can't get past them. If they do the stuff, they're going to have the artistic.
You were looking at them at training this morning, and I thought you were getting a migraine for a moment.
Yes, yeah. She to me, she has a few shaky starts on her skates, and.
Right.
And that's a worry, but their program, the brilliance of their program can't be outdone either.
Is that something that can be overcome just in a day? I mean, you see it this morning, and we're still talking about a gold medal performance?
Bad performance? A bad rehearsal, I mean. Good performance.
Yeah, you often say that, don't you? And then, of course, there's the Germans, Mandy Wurzel and Ingo Stoyer, who really have captured the hearts here at White Ring, and Germany's great hope.
Well, you see, they're a powerful pair, and they're athletic in the vein of the Americans.
She's tiny but powerful, isn't she?
Tiny but powerful, but they also have a real grace and a real feeling, and because they are the current world champions and sitting in second place, you have to tip them as a gold medal hope too. It really is such a four-way street, such an exciting event.
What is their greatest asset, Stoyer and Wurzel?
Their greatest asset, I think, is their power, but I'm wondering how much that's affected by his shoulder injury. I really thought that their throw jumps were a little lower and shorter than they've been in the past.
If you were to make a prediction, who do you say would take gold?
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Roberts.
Finish with a nice, easy one.
Dmitriev and Kazakova.
Yeah.
And what if I'm wrong?
Well, I'd just like to read you a quote from Elvis. Not the king. Well, one king, yes, but the Canadian king, Elvis Stoiker, who we're going to be seeing on 7, of course, later in these games. He really is a classic to watch, so he'll be in the building.
He will be.
Within the next few days. But Elvis is quoted as saying, there's more than one style, and it's not always the classical that wins. Now, Elvis, we know, is a little different. So who do you think he would be selecting out of those top 4? Having said that.
I think that probably he would be looking at somebody like Kazakova and Dmitriev, but also he'd be maybe talking about the Americans. And
let's not forget the Australians, Danielle and Stephen. Now, the program is due to start in some 53 minutes' time. What would they be doing at the moment? What's their build-up as far as the Australians are concerned?
Well, they go onto the ice in the second group and late in the second group, so they'll want to arrive in the building about an hour prior to the event.
And they'll be here now?
Maybe half an hour or so. They'll walk around, get the feel of the place, and then they'll go and do their warm-up and come out and hopefully hit that ice and keep running.
Are you pumped?
Extremely.
That's a major worry, Wilco, but we're looking forward to it. So we'll be back with you at White Ring shortly.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Sandy Roberts. Yes, Russian classicism versus American dynamism. Which one is going to win? My money is on Bereshnaya and Sakaralidze. We'll be back after this break.
An excellent crowd now. We'll have a full house here, there's no doubt about that. And joining us will be Neil Brooks down in the mix zone to interview some of the stars after their performances. Of course, Belinda, as I welcome you, we are very much concerned with the Australian pair of Stephen and Danielle. Finished the short program in 15th place. I think you were a little disappointed as that, not only being perhaps a touch of bias in that, being a former coach.
None at all.
Oh,
none at
just
all.
a fraction, just a
No,
fraction.
None at all. I really thought that they probably had a good argument for 12th place, which is where the Canadian judge had placed them. The Australian judge had them 14th. I think that they definitely shouldn't have been lower than 13th. And they've got a really good draw tonight. They're skating last in the second group, so that's the best possible draw that they could have. And Danielle will be trying to do, well, she'll be doing the throw triple toe and also the side-by-side triple sail. And she's feeling pretty good today, much better than she felt for the short program.
And that is so important, isn't it?
It is. You've got to feel relaxed. I mean, you know you're at Olympic Games and you know that you've got to make it fun, but you know that the whole world and the whole country is watching you and trying to make it fun and relaxed. But that's how you got to beat it, to skate well.
And you're feeling relaxed?
I feel great.
Excellent. Well, Stephen and Danielle will be coming up a little bit later on in the program. This actually is due to get underway in just a minute or so's time, and we can promise you some fantastic entertainment. Gold is up for grabs, and it's probably, Belinda, in all fairness, going to come down to 3 or 4 pairs.
I think it's going to come down to 4 pairs. Usually if you're in 1, 2 or 3 position, whoever wins the free program will take the gold medal. But tonight I think that it's actually out of 4 because there could be juggling around. Dmitriev and Kazakova so far leading the short program, and they could be taking the gold.
Who knows? The Russians could go 1-2, which would be an incredible thing for their coach.
Yes, it would be. Wouldn't that be fantastic for Tamara Moskvina? Who knows? I mean, defending world champions are going to, and then there's the Americans. A lot of people are tipping them for the bronze medal. So
all that is coming away shortly. I hope you can stay with us.
We're going to do that, Sandy, and also Belinda. We're going to take a break. We're going out live to White Ring after this.
The interesting thing, Belinda, is with 5 groups, and we've got 20 of the world's best pairs here tonight vying for gold, but what we also have is a competition within each group.
Well, the skaters in the first group to skate were placed between 17th and 20th in the short program, and it becomes their own competition even within each group, and each skater, each pair wants to be the top, the first in their own group. So the first pair up, the Azerbaijan, who are sitting in 19th, they want to climb to 17th place, and so the battle goes on within each group itself. Nobody likes to skate first because there's a slight pause at the end of the first skater while the judges average the mark. That only happens on the very first skater of each event. It's to have the judges starting on an even playing field, so to speak.
Inga Rodionova of Azerbaijan is only 17 years of age too, so I mean, also we're looking at the future of the sport, aren't we?
Well, most of the skaters in this group are fairly young and very inexperienced. When you look at their biographies, they've only been on national teams for 2 years. So, yeah, they've got a long way to go, but everyone has to start somewhere.
And Azerbaijan doesn't even have an ice rink. They've got to be in, well, they're based in Moscow.
Yeah, they are based in Moscow, and they train in Moscow. They were born in Moscow, so I think that this is one of the, I wouldn't say casualties of the breakup of the Soviet Union, but certainly very much a bonus for these sorts of countries.
The other question I think that can also be raised when we look at pair skating is how difficult it is to find a partner that is going to be suitable.
Well, probably, you know, at a very young age, you know, these girls are teenagers, they probably learn a lot about forming relationships because they're under stress, they're growing, their partners are growing, all sorts of physiological and emotional changes, and they're having to deal with partners that they, you know, often would have crushes on or learn to really dislike, or, you know, become a brother and sister relationship, and it's a very physical, very close relationship.
Which even makes the Carr-McGrath relationship all that more extraordinary. To be together in this situation for 22 years, longer than anyone else in the world, is really quite remarkable.
Well, Stephen's actually been in it for 22 and a half because
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Go away
Excuse
6
you.
months.
Well, I always like to give your sister Christine mention because she actually skated with Stephen too. So Stephen's had 2 partners and both of them his sisters. Yeah, watching the last of the warm-up here, they just start to wind down at the end and usually take the last minute before they get ready, particularly the skaters who are first to skate.
Which will be Inga Rodionova and Alexander Anichenko from Azerbaijan. And in fact, the ice is now being cleared for them. So this is the start of a very special night.
The little Japanese pair they'll get a terrific reception from the crowd. This is they're an entry because Japan is the host country, and I'm sure that little girl's very, very nervous.
So